Hello everyone, welcome for this new video. This guide is created for players that play the games without add-on. Either you're a console player and you do not really have a choice, you're forced to play the Elder Scrolls Online without add-on, or you're PC and Mac players and, like me, you have made a choice for a reason or another to play without add-on. Or maybe you're currently using add-ons, but you're curious to know why and how we can play the game without them. Either way, I hope this video will be informative to you. Firstly, I will share with you the reason why I'm playing the game without add-on. And secondly, I will take the most popular add-on and I will explain you and give you some tips to play and be successful without them. I've chosen to play the Elder Scrolls Online without add-on for several reasons. The first one being my laziness. I don't like to have to look on the web to figure out which add-on will fit the best my needs, then to download it, to install it and to set up all the options. You know, sometimes with add-on it's quite obscure and you have plenty of stuff messing up. I don't like the fact that every time there is a new update, you have to update your add-on as well, and that sometimes some add-ons are messing up with your interface or with your game. It often creates extra buff, and you have to search for which add-on is creating the bug. I find it some extra works that annoy me. Second reason is that when you're used to an add-on and suddenly you do not have access to this add-on for a reason or another, for instance, let's say that add-on is not updated anymore, you have to learn to play the game without the add-on. And I figured that it was easier for me to learn to play the game as it was developed by the developers directly, instead of having to learn to play it with a certain add-on and then to have to get used again to play it without that add-on or to play it with another add-on. So basically, I like to play the game as it has been created, the pure experience made and thought by the developers without any extra program to alter it. Also, while add-ons can be a convenience, they are sometimes making your life so easier that it's on the edge of being a cheat mode. And I don't want that. I want to play the game, I want to be good at it, I want to win because I'm a good player and not because I have installed a good add-on. In the Elder Scrolls Online it happened that the game itself has been designed exactly how it fit me. That's just a chance. I'm not someone very logical, I don't work well with numbers and formulas. I prefer to work with my instinct, and the fact that the combat gives you a visual clue to understand the fight and what's going on works a lot better for me than to see numbers and sentences popping all over my screen. So I do not need add-on. I actually inspire myself for the Elder Scrolls Online clean interface for my gaming in World of Warcraft, where I have removed a lot of numbers and I have simplified my interface as much as possible, because too much information messes my head. I need something zen and clean, and then I play better. But that's just personal. But what it shows you is that not everyone works the same way. And most importantly, I've chosen to play the Elder Scrolls Online without add-on because I want to prove you guys that you do not need add-ons to be good at the game and be successful. Some add-ons are so popular and used by such a majority of players that they become almost mandatory, at least in the head of some person. Some guilds have already imposed add-ons on their players. This is wrong, it should not be a requirement. Not everyone plays the same way, not everyone needs the same information to be good. I understand that some add-ons offer convenience and make your life easier, but it's by no means a necessity to be a skilled and well-aware players. The game offers you all the information you need to be good. So, as I'm one of the only YouTuber and streamer to play without add-on, I almost take it as my mission to show you and to prove you by my gameplay, by showing how I play, that it is not needed to be good. If I can do it, you can do it. The most popular add-on is certainly the Skyshard and the Lorebook Finder. You need Skyshard to have skill points and you need Lorebooks to increase your mage guild, so it's pretty important and a lot of players are just farming them and use the add-on instead. The add-on gives the emplacement of every Skyshard and every Lorebook on the map, so it makes the whole game easier. But if you do not have access to this add-on or if you don't want to use it, I will give you some tips to find Skyshard and Lorebook without too much difficulties. You will still have to explore, but that's the goal of the game, right? In every new quest area, you will find a Skyshard hidden somewhere. So every time you are sent to a new area to do a series of quests, you can be sure that in this zone you will find a Skyshard hidden. In the first zone, the Skyshards are pretty obvious and you will find them easily, but after they are a bit more hidden and you will have to look for it. It can be hidden behind a building, behind a tree, at the entrance of a little cave somewhere, but be sure that in a new zone you will have a Skyshard somewhere, so start to look for them. Start to feel where the Skyshard could be hidden. Try to be in the developer heads, where I will have put a Skyshard in this zone. That's how you find them. If you have difficulties to find your Skyshard and you know you have missed some, you can check in your achievement log. You will have a Skyshard section. You find it by zone and you will have the whole list of all Skyshards you have found. And those you do not have found, have a clue. You have a little sentence that will give you a good hint where you can find the next Skyshard. For the Lorebook, it's a little bit more difficult, because there are a lot of Lorebooks, they are smaller and they are not as shiny as a Skyshard, and they are better hidden as well. So basically, if you're going from quest 1 to quest 2 by the shortest way, you can be sure that you will miss most of the Lorebook. They are out of the way, they are hidden in different areas, you will have to explore to find them. You can be sure that when you have a little scenery that has nothing to do with a quest, like an abandoned fishing camp or adventurer that died with his bottle and his backpack next to him, you can be sure that you will find a Lorebook there. You can find Lorebook as well in houses or in caves, so you have to search everywhere. The best tip I can give you to not be too frustrated when you hunt for Skyshard and Lorebook is to associate this session together with hunting some material for your crafting or for selling. So you're doing different things useful in the same time. Just relax, take your time, enjoy the scenery and explore. And as you explore, take all the materials that you need and try to go in the path where you have not been before. You may find some Lorebook and some Skyshard. And if you're really frustrated because it doesn't go fast enough, the best website you can go is dolphin.com. For both Skyshard and Lorebook you will have all hints you need. So do not worry, you still have a joker if you cannot find them. The second most popular add-ons are obviously the combat add-on, those that will alter your beautiful, clean The Elder Scrolls Online interface and transform it in a World of Warcraft disco party. Yes, I'm a little bit biased. Anyway, may it be a Tactical Combat Foundry or some other, it's those add-ons that will add you the unit frame, the resources that are constantly on your screen. You can have the buff and the debuff. You can have a sort of combat log flying combat stacks around you, indicating you how much damage you're doing, how much heal you receive, whatever. When your ultimate is ready, you know, this kind of information. For some MMORPG players, it is very important for them to play good, but I can tell you that it's not really needed. While I understand how those information can help to play better, and are convenient, they are not required and not needed for you to understand the fight, simply because the game has been designed to give all information you need under visual clue that will help you to decipher the fight, understand what's happening, and be able to react appropriately. Let's speak about buff and debuff. So, every buff and debuff are shown with a visual effect that you can clearly see. If you're bleeding, you will see your character bleed. If you poison it, your character will turn green. If you're slowed, you will have some white line around you. It is very clear, very obvious. And it's the same with buff. Molten armor, for instance, from the Dragon Knight, enflame your weapon. So, once your weapon is not inflamed anymore, it's the time to recast the buff. Some buffs are more discreet, however, but generally that's spells that are doing something else. For instance, Combat Prayer, but Combat Prayer is healing, so if you're not really sure if you're followed correctly the cooldown of your buff, just heal with Combat Prayer once more instead of a healing spring. You can also pay attention to the status bar, may it be yours or the boss. You will see several information. For instance, if your life bar is cracked, it means that you have less armor. You can also see the regeneration and degeneration of your life or stamina and magicka. So, it is not so hard to keep track on your buff and debuff in your head or by observing the visual effects that you have around you. It's of course less easy, but that's part of the challenge. That's also what makes the Elder Scrolls Online unique and fun, because you have to observe what's happening in the fight and not just what's written on your screen. A lot of players are also stressed regarding their DPS. How to know how much damage you're doing without an add-on. And it's true, the add-on will give you a very straightforward proof of what you're doing. But there is a way to understand the impact you have in a fight without this add-on. When you're a healer, it's pretty clear. If you're doing a bad job, everyone will know. But if you're a DPSer, it's not that obvious, especially if you're playing together with players that is the same level than you and the same gear than you. Which of you is doing a good job, which of you is doing a bad job? Well, my first tip for you to know the impact you have in a fight is to challenge yourself. Do not take an easy boss. If you take an easy boss, you will die too fast and you will not see if you're doing a good job or not. You need to take harder content where you're supposed to fail. You will have to struggle to play correctly and to time out nicely your spell. And if you're doing good, you know that you are actually doing good. It will be easier for you to measure your impact in a fight if you are fighting against harder content, or if you have in your group players that are a little bit lower level and that you have to carry yourself. To be more specific in my suggestion, I recommend you to do certain veteran dungeons to check your DPS capabilities. Those dungeons are proposing bosses that are DPS check. Spin the Clutch is a very good example. The first boss is a single target DPS check. If you succeed in that, you will face the second boss that is a AoE DPS check. The same case in Darkshade Cavern, but the boss are a little bit further, so it might be a bit more difficult. But the second boss is a single target DPS check. If you succeed that one, you can do the third boss, which is the Netch, which is a good AoE DPS check. If you have no good AoE, you will not succeed at one. It's pretty tough. So, doing those veteran dungeons with a group that is not top-notch can't help you to understand if you're doing a good job or not. The second tip I will give you is to try and experiment different things. So even if you are following a build created by someone else and that has inspired you, do not hesitate to change it a little bit, to tweak it and to see if it's working better that way with that spell or with that abilities. Do not hesitate to experiment. That's the way you will see what's working for you, what's not working for you. And more you're trying, more you're experimenting different things, more you will have a global view of what you're capable of doing. That's how I've made my own DPS build. While I'm not a DPS specialist, but I've tried different things until I was satisfied and until I found what was working for me. You have the theoretical part where you analyze your spells and you see what's fitting together. That's kind of logical, but there's mostly what you feel right in your hand. Sometimes you will have to make a build that's a little bit less efficient theoretically, because practically it feels better, it works better for you, and that's what matters. It is not World of Warcraft. You do not have to follow the rules like that. You have more options at your disposal. Use them. Basically, if you were used to other MMORPG, you may feel a little bit disconcerted with the clean interface of the Elder Scrolls Online, but really it's worth to adapt yourself to make the effort of playing the game as it has been designed. It's different, it feels different, it's a challenge in itself, and you may find a lot of pleasure doing so. Just remember that all information that you need to be able to play the game are presented to you. You just have to learn to observe them and to adapt your gameplay, your game style and your behavior to this new situation. One add-on that's very popular is the Minimap, and a lot of MMORPG players feel completely lost without the Minimap. So let me help you. First, you have the compass. The compass works exactly like in Skyrim, and if you have not played in Skyrim, let me explain you. This compass gives you the direction of every important things that you have around you. Dungeon, quest, city, a waypoint, but also your group member. If you're following a quest, be sure that you are tracking the right quest. It happened to me very often that I was tracking a wrong quest, going straight forward in that direction to realize, it was not there I wanted to go, damn me. So track the right quest and you will have the arrow in white that will give you the direction. If you do not like to use the compass, you can still use the big map. So you open your big map and you will see everything you need to know. But my biggest tip is to do like in real life. You know, before the time you had a GPS and a phone, back in the days, where you had to observe where you were to find your way. You do the same. Just observe the world that surrounds you. I need to go there. I need to pass by this village, continue on the road, take on the left, I will see a big tree, and then 3 houses later, I will find my quest. You can do that way, and it's fun. Also, the Elder Scrolls Online, as I said earlier, is a game which is a lot about exploration. So if you're losing yourself, it's not a big deal. You may find a Skyshard or a Lorebook or another quest and you will start new adventure or a delve, whatever. Exploring is fun in this game, so do not be afraid. Do not go by the fastest way, the shortest way to reach your quest. Just enjoy. One aspect of the Elder Scrolls Online that requires the most an add-on is anything that concerns the inventory management. Banks, bags, guild store, whatever, because let's be honest, it could have been better. But hey, you cannot install add-on, you have to deal with what you have. Let's share some tips to make your life easier. You may have heard this in another video I made, so I may repeat myself, but never mind. Remember that the bank is account bound, not character bound. So any of your character can drop anything in the bank, it's shared between every character. So it's a good idea to place all your crafting material into your bank because you have access to your crafting materials from any crafting station. So you do not need to keep your crafting material in your bag to be able to craft something. And it's shared between all your characters, so it's kinda convenient. But it takes a lot of space, so try to increase your bank space as fast as possible. It will benefit all your characters. The only crafting that I'm not placing in my bag is the provisioning, but that's a personal trick. I prefer to keep every ingredient in my bag, so my character will be able to travel everywhere and continue to gather ingredients. It takes most of space in my inventory, but at least I know I will always have room for an ingredient, and before those ingredients stack to hundreds, a piece of ingredient, it will take some time. So I'm just gathering everything and keeping everything in my bag, because if I was placing it in my bank, it will eat all the space of my bank, and I don't want that. Another tip is to send your item that you have too much when your inventory is full to a friend and type the word return on the mail, so this friend can return you the mail and you have saved some space while you were adventuring. Remember that you can also use the bank to transfer some item from one character to another. It's actually the only way where you can do it besides using a friend to trade you. So if you want to exchange a piece of armor from one character to another, just drop it in the bank and get it with your other character. And the last add-on I want to talk about today is Master Merchant, which is an add-on that helps you to sell your stuff in your trading guild. Basically, it gives you the price that some items are sold for currently in your trading guild, so not the other guild. It's helpful, but its action is limited anyway. So how to do without add-on? Well, you will have to work a little bit, because the interface of the trading guild is not the simplest ever, and you do not have the very helpful search button that everyone is waiting for. So, you have on the side some filter. Use the filter smartly. It will help you to target your research. But do not use too much filter either, because, yeah, you know, sometimes it's better to have some limited but still global filter to find the things that you're searching for. So let's say that you want to know the price of some close armor that you have in your bag. Well, you put light armor. You do not put if it's a pant or boots or a dress. You put the level, like for instance if it's veteran level, but you do not precise if it's veteran 1 or veteran 14. Just put veteran level and put the quality, green, blue, epic. That will give you a long list of a lot of items, and you can get a good idea of what's sold for what price. If you had to put too much filter, you will just have the boots and you will have no idea if a belt will be sold for a higher price or the same price. So it's better to still have a global view, as I said earlier. So that way you can know what price is going for what you want to sell. But be careful. Check also the time the item have been in the store, because if it's 15 days that the item has been in the store, that probably means that it was sold for too expensive price and that no one want to buy it. So you need to make your research smartly. If you want also to have a better view, do not look just in the store of your guild, but also check some other guild store, even if it's not your current guild. For that, check in the main city, Wearest, Moonhold and Eldenroot. That's where you have all the most important guild store, and Belcart in Craglorn. The most expensive and the biggest trading guild are installed in those places, so that's where you will have more accurate information regarding the current price that some items are sold. And voilà, that's all for today. I know that some of the tips I have been sharing were pretty basic, and for the most experimented players I probably have teach you nothing, but I hope it was helpful and informative or inspiring for every new player and console players that cannot play with add-on. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you will enjoy the Elder Scrolls Online, may you be on console, on PC and Mac, and with or without add-on. Take care everyone, have a great day, see you soon. Bye!